Now, in this series of 4 simple steps to shift your practice members' neurology with your voice, I wanted to address step number 3. So, a common challenge that chiros have, as we know, is communication. And we're very different to everybody else. We have our own viewpoints, our own ways of seeing the world, and as do other people. And so, we know what we want to do for people. We have the skills, and we know that it's possible. And yet our way of seeing the world is not necessarily the same as their way of seeing the world. So, what's important to us is not necessarily important to them. So whilst technique used correctly produces amazing results, but communication used correctly also yields just incredible results. And there lies the problem. How do we get, we can drill in our technique, okay, and get that up to par, but how do we drill in our communication? And so I wanted to dive down to this one a bit more because it is a stumbling block for so many chiropractors out there. And we see of our coaching clients all around the world, this would be the number one issue, not just with their practice members, but with themselves firstly, and then with their team, and with the community generally. So but let's look at it in the context primarily of practice members, that to the degree that we communicate effectively and efficiently with that person in their unique way is the degree that we have success with that person. We can give them these amazing results that are possible with our care. So within this then, I want to present to you that you can communicate effectively no matter who it is, no matter how bizarre their behaviors are, no matter how weird their understanding of the worldview is, as it appears to you. There is a way in which we connect with people. And so let's explore the world of the quadrant 3. Now, in the previous 2 episodes of this series, we've covered quadrants 1 and 2, and they are very unique within themselves. Quadrant 3 is no different. It is very, very unique. So when it comes to quadrant 3, what we've got here is it's probably best demonstrated actually with a bit of a story. I was thinking, a girl who came in this week, Narita, she is so pleasant. Just get the feel of this, just delightful, lovely, smiles all the time. She wears these comfortable clothes, and she, her Birkenstocks included. She is earthy. She gets close to explain what's going on. A fairly low tone, low pitched voice, and loves to touch in order to get her point across or to explain something that's going on for her. Now, she's quite I'd say strategic in her approach, because she is very, very loyal, and she wanted to make sure that she was getting into something that was going to be a fit for her. And she has to feel good within the chiropractic choice that she makes. So she originally came in to see us just to make sure that it would be a fit, to suss us out, doing this engagement just to make sure that it resonated with her gut in a way that would be good for a long-term relationship. So she called us back after that first visit and said, yep, this feels right to me, I'll be coming in. So she came in, she received the report. There was huge trust there by this time, and made all her appointments ahead, and she hasn't missed one. She follows through. She's committed to what she's doing, and it's this loyal sense of being part of a journey with us. So she's intrigued by the explanations that she imagines to elicit from us. We go into like a coaching mode with her. We don't dump a whole bunch of stuff on it. We don't move too fast. We just allow her to notice her process. And so she asks a little bit at a time, and she makes distinctions along that. She follows through with any suggestions, any homework or home play or anything that could be done to help her improve her on this journey. She does it like clockwork. She's very, very reliable at that. The the questions are of incredibly high quality, deeply thought out, and they were earlier about technique and about, what are you doing now and how is this working and how does that relate? And so, that's where you use the educational devices that we have on the walls, with the journey poster or the degeneration posters or the phase placement posters and things like that. And she gathered information. She has been gathering information, and now she's moving into more philosophical questions. In other words, the why questions. Why are we doing what we're doing, and how does that fit into a sustainable environment? She's quite green in this context, like from a political point of view. So the political related questions are relative to sustainability, and obviously chiropractic just has it nailed in that area. And so as she gathers that, she becomes more and more involved in chiropractic. She's referred in a whole bunch of friends who are very similar. And she's even starting to ask questions about what it would take to become a chiropractor. So, who knows? Watch this space. But that's the nature of this quadrant 3 part. So I wanted to jump over and look at how we bring all this together in some of the to-dos within the quadrant 3 part. Right, so the quadrant 3 part is bottom right quadrant. So, right brain, as we talked about before, is heading towards the future. The left brain was heading towards the past, so referencing the past. So this is a future-oriented thing, and yet it's at the lower end. So it's more detail-oriented. So it looks at the details. The big picture's up there, and it will take notice of that once it gets satisfied that the details are all taken care of. So the detail end of the spectrum is where we're dealing here with this quadrant 3 part. So let's just make it a little bit bigger here so we can fit it all on. Okay. So within the quadrant 3 part, then what we're looking for is the style in which this person responds. And when we work with a person who does this quadrant really well, they love coaching. They love you to be beside them in the process. So, as an explanation with examples. So, giving an example or a physical model of what they're working on. So in other words, it could be some of the aids that you may have, like degeneration models and things like that, or towel twisting and so forth that show spinal tightening up, areas tightening up or letting go and so forth. But there's got to be an example, something tangible, something that they can touch and feel, and also within their body. So pre and post adjustment movement, so they can see that they couldn't touch their toes and now they can, or they couldn't lift their leg and now they can, or whatever that happens to be. Some evidence that's not theoretical, but it's relevant to them. The quadrant 2 part loves all that theoretical evidence-based stuff, but this part is quite pragmatic. But it wants to know the examples, and it wants to also always understand the direction, right? So every visit should be part of the direction of what they want to do with their life, how they're using it, where it's taking it, where we are taking it together. And I think this is worth noting here too. It's a we thing. It's not just either the chiro or the practice member. It's we. Where are we going? How are we doing this? How can we affect other people? It is slow to move on ideas, so that's where we've got to cut down on the noise. We don't want to dump a whole lot of information. It's not about having all of the education handled in the first 2 visits. No way. It's drip feed. It's bit by bit by bit by bit, and so their needs. They do have a need for acknowledgement, this part of us, that likes to be recognized. And, just, hey, this is amazing. You've got an incredible body. This is doing such a great job. I really like the way that you do your homework on this one. It's really, really cool the way your body adjusted there. So that sort of activity with the person gives them a sense of pleasing, of contribution, and that part of us really loves to feel that they are on board with this, so that it's not just them being a patient having it done to them. So, they'll ask us often, how do you feel? How do you feel about how I'm going? And you'll notice that kinesthetic words are used quite commonly in this quadrant 3 part. So, I would sort of add a fairly neutral but very meaningful to them response to that. So, like, I'm happy. I'm really happy with the way you're going. So, that gives them that sense of security, that they like to have feedback. So, feedback is a component of the quadrant 3 part that makes them realize that they are on the right track, and they like to have collaboration around them so people are all moving in the same direction with them. So, and that particularly is you. One of the things that you would keep asking them, what are you noticing? So, because of this sensate kinesthetic nature, this part notices stuff, right? So, and one of the things we want to be aware of here is taking the value judgment off the noticing, and simply we're looking at what they are noticing, and not as good or bad, or not as any whinge factor there. It's simply, what I'm noticing is this and this, and after that last adjustment I noted this and that, and then when I did this and this and this, that and that and that happened. So they start to connect their process with the whole experience of chiropractic, because remember, they're moving in a forward direction. They're building or rebuilding. They understand this. They understand regeneration. They understand that how we must work together to create a new thing that's sustainable. So, that's the nature of this quadrant 3 part. It loves to be involved and learn along the way. So it sees it as a step-by-step process. So what we have there then is a way in which we can communicate with this quadrant 3 part. And the quadrant 3 part wants to be able to know us. And so it is about being available for that person, or that who does that part really well. And they want to be able to like us. So if we're transparent and we reveal ourselves to them, then they will like us, and therefore they'll trust us. So we can do this within their model. And we have great license to do this as chiropractors, because obviously we're working with them in the very sacred part of them, So and that's really important, and particularly in this quadrant, they're quite body oriented, gut oriented. So it fits inside their model so well, and they will be regular with their care, and they'll keep appointments, and they want to have their family under care. They want to have everyone they love under care. And so they will do their homework and their home play and their exercises and so forth. So, they're quite, this part is quite compliant. So if you'd like to have a chat with me about how we can help you nail your communication blocks or make more distinctions about these different styles, if you'd like to drill down on your practice communication, maybe within the team, then just enter communicate below and we can have a chat. And I look forward to speaking with you.